Hey, what is up, guys? It is Jed. Now, you may or may not have seen this video that has recently came up. The truth behind Fortnite is dying. A gentleman by the name of Downward Thrust made this video. Now, he makes the claim in the video that he's not directly targeting someone or going after a specific person's ideas or anything like that. But to that, I say that this whole Fortnite is dying train that he's referring to in this video was popularized by me. I am the reason it's a big deal and people are talking about it. I'm the reason people are chasing that success. People thought the way that I did prior to that video, but that video really opened up the minds and gave people a voice. Ever since then, you've seen countless amounts of videos just titled similarly, similar thumbnails, stuff like that. I popularized this trend, so taking on this trend is taking on me. So I'm going to respond to this. He remains substantive and constructive about everything, so I'm going to be the same. I'm not going to be insulting him or whatever. And this is something I enjoy doing. I enjoy having open discussions and open exchange of ideas. I watched this video like a week ago, so I'm not entirely certain of all the points he made in this 8-minute video. But we're going to watch it together. I'm going to talk about the points that he makes, and I hope this is entertaining somehow.
What is the difference between saying a video game is failing in my eyes, for whatever reason, versus a video game is dying? Think about that for a second, because that's going to be the running theme in this video. Fortnite is dying. The top reasons why Fortnite is dying. The death of Fortnite. Fortnite is still dying.
I wonder whose title that is. When I say Fortnite is dying, I'm saying that it's in a regressive state and losing players. When I say Fortnite is dying, I'm saying that it's in a regressive state and losing players. Okay, so I see this point regurgitated quite a bit. Now, I'm going to rebut this point anyway, but just to be clear, this isn't even what I'm arguing. I'm not arguing anything that has anything to do with their concurrent player counts and if they're at an all-time high. When I say that Fortnite is losing players, I'm talking about players like myself, players that have been around for a while and seen the game regress and see it decline in quality. Those players have quit the game. I have talked to so many of them. There's a lot of people in my Discord I've talked to. I've quit. All of my friends have quit. A lot of people I talk to on a daily basis have quit the game. I'm not trying to come off as objectively their player count is declining because I don't know that. I don't have access to that information. I cannot make that claim, nor can anyone else but Epic Games. When I say that they're losing players, I'm saying they're losing players because we are taking a look at the game, realizing how bad it really has become, and we're quitting the game. And yeah, I guess that's inevitable with every single game, but if the mechanics were good, and they rewarded the people that took the time to get good at the game, would we be quitting? I'm saying right now there is a reason to quit the game, and people are quitting because of it. They are losing players. So to come at me and say that it's their biggest month yet, that doesn't mean anything because they've lost players already. I think a lot of people would agree the game is in a regressive state, but it's just the losing players part. I think people are getting some misconceptions there, thinking I'm arguing something I'm not. But moving on, I'm going to rebut this specific point either way. 78 million players that show up, that's old players and new players, people that have just made a new account. That doesn't tell me concurrent players. That doesn't tell me how many people are actively logging in and if it's anything comparable to what it used to be back in Season 2 and 3 where the game was at its peak. I don't know what concurrent players are like, and neither does anyone else arguing this point. Take a look at what's highlighted on the screen across all platforms. What about the fact that they've just released the game on additional platforms? Don't you think that would contribute to how many players have logged in? I also see a lot of people mentioning that it's their biggest earning month yet. What about the fact that we're seeing Fortnite apparel appear in actual stores out in the real world? Epic Games sells the right to clothing companies to produce that and sell that on the free market. Epic Games is making money doing that. Who knows if they take that into consideration when determining their biggest earning month? See, this is what I'm talking about. People are trying to come off as objective and fact-based, but they're missing all of the facts. They do not know the information they claim to. I don't know it either, and I don't claim to know it. I'm just saying that the mechanics are bad, and it's causing players like me to quit. I explained this in my most recent video. When I say Fortnite is dying, that is what I mean.
Wait, what? I thought Fortnite was doing pretty good. And what I mean by pretty good is that Fortnite is the #1 most played, most watched game on the planet.
And I agree with that. And I actually agree with that in the video that popularized this trend that you're taking on. Now, before I start, I want to make it clear that Fortnite is the #1 game out right now, and it's going to be that way for a little bit.
Which would quite literally be the opposite of failing? Isn't that pretty well known by now? Well, maybe it was all hoax. Let's see what we can dig up. Well, after about 5 seconds of Google searching, I found the latest data. And here's the Cliff Notes. The Fortnite phenomenon shows a little sign of abating as its developer Epic Games announced that August was the Battle Royale game's biggest month yet, with 78.3 million players logging in to play across all platforms.
Again, just to reiterate, this is when they had the game out on all platforms. Prior to this, the game wasn't out on Switch and iPhone and Android and all these additional platforms that everyone can play on. Right now, we are sitting with the game more available than ever. And it's up to you to decide if that influences that 78.3 million players. Again, it's just my opinion. I don't have access to the information required to make that claim. Do you think the fact that the game's more available than ever impacted that or not? It's up to you.
Well, if Fortnite was dying, shouldn't there be less players now than there was in June of 2018?
The game was not as available as it is now in October 2018. Fast forward a few months and the game is still, as I predicted, the #1 game out, but now it's just available in more places for more people to log on.
When I created Did It Fail in February of last year, I did so with the intent of bringing the industry a snapshot of how a game did. Did it fail or did it succeed? So how do you measure that? You measure it, of course, with data, facts, player counts, sales, and financial information obtained from proper sources. I always made sure to leave my opinion mostly out of it because the numbers, they tell the story. My Did It Fail series is my most popular format, and it's been replicated by so many people on the internet out there, and some of them don't measure the game in an objective way. That's fine. You can still say a game failed all you want because it's your opinion, and a game may very well indeed fail in your eyes for any number of reasons.
Well, there, he basically agrees with me. See, the honest truth is, I'm an opinion-based YouTuber, and I have no problem admitting that. Yes, I do try to twist my titles to come off as objective, but really when you listen to me and listen to my points that I have, they are my opinions. If the point of his videos are to remain objective and use all these sources and facts and stuff like that, that's fine. That's your format. My format is to give my opinion, a seasoned player, to give my opinion on game mechanics and how that would impact the game. That is my format. That is the format I've chosen, and that's the format I've stuck with. The misconception that I'm trying to come off as objective is created by the titles I create. The titles I create, I try to come off as objective, but then once people listen to my videos, they realize, yeah, it's just his opinion. The critique on my titles is totally fair. I think it's a fair piece of criticism. I've been criticized a lot for my titles. But once you actually listen to my videos and listen to my points, which I've actually found out that not a lot of people do. A lot of people tend to read the title, agree or disagree, and move on. A lot of people don't have the time or attention span to sit around and really listen to my points and exchange ideas. And that's fine, that's the nature of YouTube. If you dislike my titles, that's fair. You can have that opinion of yours, just like I can have mine.
If a game is dying, that means people are leaving, player bases are declining, the games are taking longer to find, and that the game is objectively in jeopardy of supplying its audience with the means of playing the game. I
don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I understand what he's getting at here, but the statement Fortnite is dying is anything but an objective statement. Because to this, I would ask you, what is your definition of a dying game? What is your definition of a dead game? Some people might say that a game truly dies when the servers are shut off. Some people might say the game is dead after X amount of players. Some people would say it is dying when it takes a dip in player count. I understand the point he's trying to make, but in his own subjective sense of what Fortnite is dying truly means to him is what you just heard. Not a lot of people have the same definition of what Fortnite is dying actually means. And that's why I'm able to do what I do and get away with it. Because the honest truth is, Fortnite is dying is not an objective statement. It's subjective because everyone has their own definition of what that even means. I've been perfectly transparent with what I mean by that, and I've backed it up accordingly. But again, it's my own subjective sense of what Fortnite is dying means.
A game can't be dying just because you don't like it. For every one of you, there's another person that might like it. Maybe 10, 20, or even 100 people take your place when you quit. A game isn't objectively dying just because you don't like Bloom or would prefer a more realistic shooting setup.
But when I say that a game is dying, that could mean a plethora of things to different people, depending on who you are and your own subjective sense of what that even means. In order for something to be objective, there cannot be the possibility of someone interpreting that a different way than you do. Right now in the comments, go down and tell me right now, when does a game die? In your opinion, when does a game die? And the fact that I even have to preface that statement with "in your opinion" should already make my point. I'm probably going to receive a different number of answers. People are going to say when you reach X amount of player count, when the server shut off. It's a subjective sense of when a game dies. A game doesn't die when it objectively dies. That's not possible because that statement has a subjective meaning. I'm really trying to drill that into you guys because I think that's very important moving forward. Hopefully I've reiterated some of my points and explained why I think the way I do and why I still agree with every single title I've ever created. And to be clear, every single title I've ever created is my opinion, and it will always be that way. If you want to criticize me and say that my titles try to come off as objective, but really they're not, once you listen to my video and listen to my points, you'll realize this is a subjective view of X, Y, and Z. Yeah, that's fine. That's a fair piece of criticism, and I've received it a lot, and I have no issue with it. I've never deleted a comment. I've never filtered a word. It's totally fine. If you want to criticize me for it, that is fair game. Just like he's doing here. He's criticizing the misconceptions that my titles create, and he doesn't like it. That's fine. He's entitled to that opinion, and I respect that. However, to believe that Fortnite is dying as an objective statement is just plain wrong. Objective can only have one meaning and one meaning only. It cannot have an individual interpretation of what that phrase means. And he has his own individual interpretation of what that phrase means. And going off of his own subjective standard, he's telling me that I cannot make my titles or my videos the way that I do, because it's quote unquote objective. So case in point, Fortnite is dying is a subjective statement. All of my titles are my opinions. And while I appreciate the input, I'm going to continue doing what I do. I'm sorry if you don't like it. Perhaps click the not interested button next time you see one of my videos. I love you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace out, everybody.